Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. The high school football season begins in just a matter of days. My name is Lauren Plant. He is Tom Markowski. This is the 2017 State Champs High School Football Preview, the final installment of our summer series powered by Lawrence Technological University. Now coming up, our preseason Top 10 Hungry Howie's Mr. Football candidates. Scout.com's Alan True has the recruit report, and we've got a whole lot more. But first, how about some quick hits? Let's start down here in Southeast Michigan. Two new men heading two historic franchises in the Catholic League Central Division. Orchard Lake, the only returning state champs. What are your thoughts?
Well, I like Catholic Central to be strong again, without the fact that Tom Mack isn't there. St. Mary's will also be in the challenge for a Division III title.
How about the Mack Red? Let's go there.
I think it's loaded, top to bottom. I like Eisenhower, got to the semifinals last year. Watch out for Chippewa Valley to be much improved.
The KLAA has had a shakeup. All the Walled Lake and Waterford schools, they defected. Still Canton's to lose overall?
I do think Canton's going to be tough. There's going to be some challengers like from Brighton. Strong league, 2 divisions this year instead of 4.
All right, well, thank you. Let's swing around the state for some more quick hits.
I'm Stephanie Funkhauser from the west side of the state, and only 2 schools in state history have won 5 straight state championships. The West Catholic and Muskegon Catholic Central have a shot to do it this year. West Catholic is led by 3-year starting quarterback Gaetano Valloni, and MCC has a sophomore star under center Cameron Martinez. Grand Rapids Catholic Central also looks poised to defend its D4 title, and the Rockford Rams are trying to get back on top in Division I. So it should be a fun year in West Michigan.
I'm Jay Sarkar in the Lansing area, here to preview some of the top teams for the 2017 season here in mid-Michigan. In the CAAC Blue, Grand Ledge looks to rebound from what was a down year by Comet standards, and they return senior quarterback Nolan Bird, now in his 3rd year as starter. DeWitt looking to remain king of the hill over in the CAAC Red. Longtime coach Rob Zimmerman has his largest roster in his 18 years as head coach, with a whopping 57 kids suiting up on varsity. In the CAAC White, Lansing Catholic and Portland will likely battle for the title again. Their regular season meeting coming up in Week 5 could very well decide the division. Up in the CMAC, Pewamo Westphalia looks to keep its title train rolling. The Pirates looking for a 3rd straight trip to Ford Field, but the graduation of All-State running back Jared Smith presents a challenge. And down in Jackson, Lumen Christi won its 9th state title last year, but Coach Herb Brogan is hoping his Titans can make it 10. Lumen faces an early challenge, opening its season against powerhouse Grand Rapids West Catholic Week 1.
I'm Ryan Slocum, and here's some teams to keep an eye on in the mid-Michigan area.
Davison lost a lot of players from last year's team that started 10-0, but the Cardinals do return one of the best players in the state, running back Tariq Reed. Like Davison, Carmen Ainsworth looks to make some noise in the Saginaw Valley League, led by the Fletcher boys, Dustin at quarterback and Big Mike at D-end. The Fenton Tigers should be strong again. They have won a record-tying 6 straight Flint Metro League titles. Fenton is led by senior dual-threat quarterback Josh Zarnata. And don't forget about the perennial powers like Lapeer, Millington, and New Lothrop. And last but not least, Ithaca has a great shot to get back to the state title game after its streak of 6 straight trips to Ford Field was snapped by Frankenmuth last year.
I'm Sam Ali from the UP, and for Upers, this upcoming football season will be unlike any other in recent memory. 60 of last year's 65 All-UP selections were seniors, so that means a whole new group of players stepped into their new roles. In the Mid-Penn Conference, it's anybody's game as Negaunee, Ishpeming, and Iron Mountain look to continue their dominance. In the Great Northern Conference, Marquette brings back a young and experienced team to battle against the likes of Escanaba and Kingsford. Norway made it to the regional finals, but this year they moved to the Mid-Eastern Conference with Lakeland and Hubble, last year's conference champs. And in 8-man football, the 2-time defending champs North Central lost a heap of talent and will have a lot of pressure on them this season to keep up their winning ways.
What's up, State Champs Nation? I'm Kiera Hay, and are you ready for some football? The Emmy-nominated State Champs Extra Point is moving to Fox Sports Detroit beginning next Saturday, August 26th. So catch all the statewide football highlights and Mr. Football talk and recruiting news that you can handle. 10 o'clock a.m. every Saturday throughout the football season. Watch State Champs Extra Point. Tom and Lauren reveal the first top 10 Mr. Football candidates of the season next, so stay with us.
I want to be a dermatologist, and though a lot of universities tried to recruit me for basketball, Lawrence Tech had the science curriculum that I wanted. LTU's Southfield campus is a great place to learn, and the classes are small enough that I don't have to wait for office hours to talk to my professors. They're usually right by my side, challenging me and guiding me toward a successful future. Lawrence Tech, possible is everything.
There's an old saying, you can never have too many officials. The age of the average official is 52 and getting older all the time. We're constantly recruiting new people, younger people to join us. After you register with the MHSAA, look on the website to find an officials association near you. They'll put you in a position to succeed as an official. We all learned a lot from high school sports, and officiating is a great way to give back to the game. There's help wanted, just whistle.
Touchdown, Falcons.
What began as just a concept a decade ago, the Mr. Football Award soon became the most talked about postseason trophy in the state. An idea that high school football fans could have a say? That struck a chord. Over the past 9 years, millions of people have weighed in. At the start of every season, the race is on to figure out who's going to be #1 this year. The Hungry Howie's Mr. Football Award is not simply interested in the state's top prospect. You need to prove it on the field. In 2008, Torsten Boss was not named a blue chipper, but he was a 4-year starter for Powerhouse Lowell. He checked all the boxes. Can't define greatness just from the package it comes in. In 2009, Jason Fracassa wasn't going to play big-time D1 college football, but he graduated with 6 all-time MHSAA quarterback records. And how about Port Huron's Mark Chapman in 2012? Big Reds didn't win a state title, but he was the people's champion with over 300,000 votes. You combine that with his numbers on the ground and through the air, definition, winner. One more example, Ithaca's Travis Smith. His school was competing in Division 6, but Travis was 40-0 as a starter. He was a quarterback leader on a team with the nation's longest win streak. He was the best player that year, and that's how we do it. We celebrate 10 years, celebrating legendary high school superstars. Time to start again. I simply cannot believe that it's been 10 years of the Mr. Football Award. Your thoughts on this decade of excellence?
You know, it's just gotten bigger and bigger. It's become the biggest football award in the state individually. And, you know, we started out thinking, you know, who's the best? Is it going to be a running back? Is it going to be a quarterback? I just love it this year because it's so wide open. Other years you had your big favorites, but, you know, I get questions all the time from coaches, fans, you know, who's going to be in the running, who are the best players. You know, it's a gas for us to do.
It is, and for the fans to be involved is the best part. We're going to get into more about how wide open it is in our storyline segment. That's coming up later in the show, but let's not waste any more time. Reveal our preseason list of candidates for the 2017 version of the Hungry Howie's Mr. Football race. As you can see from the list, at least in the early goings, it's quarterback heavy. So let's talk about a few of them, shall we? How about Utica Eisenhower's Max Whitworth?
You know, he's a dual threat quarterback. Last year I had a chance to see him in the semifinals against Cass Tech, almost pulled that one out of his hat.
He was right on the cusp of being in the Mr. Football race last year. Why don't you give me your take on Rockford's Jason Whitaker?
6'5", a great arm. He had a good junior season. I look for him to really have a big season this year.
We've got 2 running backs on this list, both very good. Davison's Tariq Reed, who was in our top 10 last season, and U of D Jesuits' Elijah Collins.
Yeah, you know, Reed last year had a sensational year, moved his way into the top 10. You know, I look at Collins as a kid that was a a basketball player, now is making himself a football player, a big-time recruit.
All right, you know, we're showing the men in the trenches some love. Traverse City West Ryan Hayes, 6'7", over 250 pounds, plays tight end for the Titans. Not sure if he'll be catching any passes at Michigan, but he's a beast, and we like it.
You know, they'll probably turn him into an offensive tackle, but he also plays defensive end. He's their punter. I look for West to do some big things this year with him.
All right, here's the deal. You can vote for any one of our top 10 candidates right now at statechampsnetwork.com. This race is similar to the Heisman race, as candidates will fall in and out of the top 10 based on results. However, the top vote getter can never be removed, and at the end of the season, that guy will automatically be in our final four and have a 20% advantage over the other three to win it all. So vote now and vote often at statechampsnetwork.com.
For 15 years, State Champs has been your home for high school sports, and it's the best stories and highlights of all high school sports. Tune in every Sunday at 9 a.m. on Fox Sports Detroit. This is high school sports coverage that you just can't get anywhere else. Scott.com's Alan True has the first recruit report of the season. Who's getting all the hype? Find out next when the State Champs High School Football Preview continues.
My passion is architecture. I don't want to sit around passively studying. I need to create. In our architecture studios at Lawrence Tech, we collaborate with students, faculty, and professionals from around the world. And from day one, we design using the same industry standard software that architecture firms use. I really feel like I'm designing my own future here. Lawrence Tech, possible is everything.
Sports give so many opportunities to kids. It gives them an opportunity to see where they fit within a team, persevere, understanding how to work with different personalities. Those are the lessons that will make you a successful adult. As a mom, you have to have an understanding of what concussions are.
Concussions are things that are treatable. If we take care of athletes, they will be able to develop and have a long, happy, healthy life.
Camp is Metro Detroit's original Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram dealer, and we're still making the best deals every day.
During the summer clearance event, lease a Ram Crew Cab 4x4 as low as $189 a month, or a 2017 Jeep Grand Cherokee for just $249.
Sales service and a superior buying experience. That's Snap Camp on Telegraph Road in Redford.
Snap Camp, Metro Detroit's original. Snap Camp, Snap Camp.
Welcome back to the Michigan High School Football Preview Show. Time for our first recruit report of the 2017 football season. Doing it each and every week with us on Extra Point will be Scout.com's Alan True. How you doing, Alan?
Doing great. Excited that the season's.
All right. This is the guy, the man in the know. We want to talk about recruits and what's happening in and around the state of Michigan. Let's talk about Colin Demmons from Detroit Country Day.
Well, he's one of the uncommitted guys in the state right now, and he's got a lot of schools looking at him. Went out west to train this summer, and I think actually liked some of those schools out there. He was in Arizona, but he visited USC, UCLA. The buzz right now is for the Bruins. Still has some Big Ten schools recruiting him. Michigan is offered, Michigan State's offered, Nebraska's offered, but right now the buzz is that he may head out west and become a Bruin.
Many of you will remember his brother, Kenny, who went on to play at Michigan. We'll see if that has any influence. So far, not the case. Let's go to the running backs. Elijah Collins, University of Detroit Jesuit.
Well, he named a top 6 recently, but I think most favor him right now to stay in state and end up being a Michigan State Spartan, but he's got Iowa, Pitt, even Mississippi State on his list, and Michigan State has a huge need at running back, and I think the ability to come in and possibly compete right away would be intriguing to Mr. Collins.
Let's take it to the great Northeast, still in the Lower Peninsula, but very north, very east. Ben Van Summeren.
Well, as you mentioned, very north, very east, so it took some schools to find out about him, but he put up outstanding testing results in the spring. He was one of the top 10 testers at a Nike camp in the entire country, so he can play a lot of different positions. Cincinnati recently offered him. Minnesota had offered him at one point, and I think he's going to wait it through the season a little bit and see what other schools come in. With his athleticism, now that schools are finding out about him, a kid that could pick up some offers during his senior year.
That's right, out of Essexville Garber. Logan Brown.
East Kentwood 2019 offensive tackle looks exactly the way you want him to look. 6'6", almost 290 pounds now, very athletic. Already played varsity last year. Wisconsin offered him early. Michigan has now offered him. Michigan State, Alabama has come up and offered him. So this kid's going to have his choice of any school in the country. Right now, though, the Wolverines, after having him up for their barbecue, they're the school that's trending.
There you go. Alan True will be on Extra Point every Saturday at 10 a.m. You'll also be able to hear him Friday nights on the State Champs scoreboard between 10:30 and midnight. Make sure you check it out. All right, thank you, Alan. Well, since I have an award-winning journalist on stage with me right now, why not digest some of the top storylines heading into the 2017 high school football season? I'll serve it up, you dish it out, okay? For the first time in over 40 years, we will have a head coach at Detroit Catholic Central not named Mac.
That's amazing. Dan Anderson's been an assistant coach there for 18 years. I was talking to Dan the other day. He was as shocked as anyone when Tom stepped down. But, you know, we all know that that day was going to come. They just didn't see it coming that soon. I really think Dan's going to do a great job there. You know, he's been, prepping himself. He's been a head coach before. This is not something new for him. I tell you what, he told me he doesn't take that smile off his face much because he really loves his job. And who wouldn't? One of the best programs in the state. And
he was a long-time defensive coordinator under Tom Mack, so he understands the CC way. All right, it's kind of a bummer for me because I love seeing these two play as much as I can, but Cass Tech and Detroit King will not play in the regular season. What's up with that?
You know, I was talking to Rod Oden, the coach at East English, and they got together a committee. They were beating themselves up too much, and sometimes they would play each other 3 times in a season. That's just too much. So they went to Alvin Ward, got it realigned, so all the best teams are going to get in the state playoffs. If that means that King and Cass don't play during the regular season, so be it. They'll likely meet in their PSL playoffs. They won't play each other in the state tournament because they're 2 different divisions. But I like it. I think it's the more the better teams you get from a league into the state playoffs, better for the league.
Yeah, but it's so great to see him play twice, too.
Yeah,
So we're just selfish.
You get that rematch sometimes, you get a lot of conversation.
We announced our first top 10 candidates in our Hungry Howie's Mr. Football race earlier in the show. Hard to say, but it really does seem wide open this year.
Yeah, I don't really see, any one player having that much of an advantage over the others. I mean, some people say, well, maybe Theo Day at Dearborn Divine Child is maybe this much of in the front runner, but you look at all the other candidates like Jason Whitaker and Max Whitwer we talked about earlier, and I think it depends on their teams and how well they do. What if Divine Child doesn't get off to a good start? What if, Josh Sarnata out of Fenton, what if he just blows up and puts up crazy numbers? He could win the award. I'm looking forward to it because I think the season will play out and prove who the real winner is.
I think we'll have some guys coming in and out too, so it might be a little more interchangeable than it has in the past. We've got some rule changes that the MHSA has brought down. What are they?
Well, one is the face guarding, which I think is a good rule. That's in other levels of sports where it will now be interference. There's a lot of things they do during the regular season and the preseason as far as practice time. It's only 90 minutes a week as far as contact. And I'm not sure that's going to affect teams as much as one might think.
Of course, the topic of concussions is always top of mind. We just did a show a few weeks back on the subject. What's your take?
You're never going to get away from this subject. And I was telling some coaches about our show that was so popular, and it is so popular. You can never get too much information on this subject. The more the parents know, the more the players know, the more the coaches know, the more you can do about it. It's a physical game. Lacrosse is a physical game. You're going to get concussions in these sports, but you're going to have to try to limit them as much as possible.
Thanks, Tom.
The best place to get all the scores and hear some of the best in the business break it all the way down in your radio is the State Champs scoreboard, and it begins August 25th and airs every Friday night from 10:30 p.m. to midnight all football season long. Lauren Plant, Tom Markowski, Scott Bernstein, Alan True, and many others want to talk high school football with you. The flagship home for the scoreboard is 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit. but now it'll be simulcast on 16 radio stations throughout the state. You can also get an interactive experience and watch the show live on Facebook. It's the State Champs scoreboard on your radio, on your phone, and at statechampsnetwork.com. Who are Tom Markowski's preseason top 10 football teams in the state? Find out next.
At Sparrow, we find ways to improve healthcare for our community. That's why we're Michigan's first member of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. Advancing knowledge, innovative teamwork, and shared expertise are in the company you keep. Choose wisely. Choose Sparrow.
I want a career in robotics and automation, so I chose Lawrence Tech for its first in Michigan robotics engineering program. LTU's brand new STEM complex has a robotics lab where we can design, build, and program robots in a creative atmosphere. And the best thing is, I haven't graduated yet, but I already have a job in my field. I know I made the right choice for my career. Lawrence Tech, possible is everything.
Get ready! The Zenith Prep Kickoff Classic returns to Midtown Detroit on the campus of Wayne State University August 24th through the 26th. Michigan's premier season-opening prep football event, now in its 13th year, will welcome 7 games in 3 days and feature the state's top teams and players. Log on to DetroitSports.org for more information. The Prep Kickoff Classic. Tickets on sale now. You gotta be there.
At Sparrow, you get the finest cancer care from the region's most trusted health system. As a member of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, we can connect with the Mayo Clinic for complex cancer cases, keeping your care close to home. Choose wisely. Choose Sparrow.
Welcome back to the State Champs High School Football Preview Show. On the set one more time with me, Tom Markowski. Over 30 years, Tom was the high school beat writer for the Detroit News. He's been a part of State Champs for all of our 15 years, and people come to you, sir, for rankings. And so that's what we're going to do. Our top 10 teams in the state have been picked out heading into week 1. Let's put those on your screen now. Certainly no surprise to me that Detroit Cass Tech is number 1, but Saline was a hair's breadth of beating them a year ago in the regionals. Joe Palka's got that program on the precipice, right?
No doubt. You know, I was talking to Joe the other day and I said, what is it about your team that you can play Cass Tech so well? Other teams have really struggled with that team. And he went some of the ins and outs and how he tries to create matchups. But, you know, this year, like many good programs, they have to replace a lot of seniors. Some of the better seniors they have coming back is C.J. Gildersleeve, a fine linebacker committed to Central Michigan. And they also got some transfers too. One was from Belleville, M.J. Griffin, a wide receiver and a defensive back.
Let's move to number 4 and Oak Park. Former Inkster and Detroit DePorres head man Greg Carter has been there for a number of years now. He won titles with DePorres, got Inkster to the finals with Devin Gardner. They're strong in the trenches. Talk about them.
You know, I think this is their best team. You know, behind the scenes, Greg has said that this is his best team. But, you know, you got to go out on the field and prove it. You know, there's no John Kelly to bail you out. But what's going to be different this year about Oak Park, they're going to use a 2-quarterback system, I believe. DeJuan Mathis, who's the big-time recruit, a junior, but another junior, Corey Graham, played really well last year when DeJuan was not in the lineup. So I'm looking for those 2 quarterbacks to trade off and look for Mathis to play a little receiver as well.
All right, just below them in our rankings, West Bloomfield. Now, they were good. Some transfers coming in makes them better. What's their ceiling?
You know, I think they can go to Ford Field, but they got to prove it on the field. I think they've underachieved so far, but this year, even if they didn't have the 4 really good transfers who were going to start for them this year, I thought they were going to be a contender anyways. Bryce Beasley at quarterback. You look at A.J. Abbott, a wide receiver that transferred in from Northville. They're going to be explosive offense. If they can play defense, watch out.
Lowell and Muskegon both have Mr. Football candidates leading the way for them. If Muskegon stays in 3, good chance for both of them to win state titles this year?
Yeah, I kind of favor them. I got them 2 and 3 in my rankings. I really like Lowell this year, you know, with David Cruz coming back at quarterback, put up some great numbers last year. You know, talk about Muskegon that, you know, going to play with a chip on their shoulder. They felt they had that championship in their pockets last season. They have a lot of players back. You know, Shane Fairfield does a magnificent job there, a big offensive line, and hey, Ladarius Jefferson at quarterback, he makes them go.
I agree. Can't wait for the season to start. Thank you, Tom. So we thank Tom Markowski for all of his excellent insight. Joining me now, though, Marty Dobeck of the Detroit Sports Commission. The 2017 Zenith Prep Kickoff Classic just days away. Once again, the venue is Wayne State University. Once again, it is the highlight event of the opening weekend of the high school football season, but this year seems extra special for football fans. The lineup for this year's event has got a lot of people super excited, including me. Some really great matchups. Welcome.
Thanks, Lauren. Thanks for having me.
Talk about these matchups, because this seems like we are really going to be entertaining.
Yes, you know, we have 6 new teams this year. Again, we have 7 games over 3 days. It's going to be really exciting. I mean, from the first game to the last game, they're going to be must-see matchups.
What's great, too, is you get a chance to see some teams from some other states and power programs. Indianapolis Cathedral coming in, taking on Martin Luther King, the showcase event on Saturday night. That's a great capper.
Absolutely, and I went down to Indianapolis Cathedral in the springtime, and I got to see their campus, meet with their athletic director, their football coach, and I mean, that's an athletic school through and through. We're excited to have them come up to Michigan and be in downtown Detroit and play a heck of a team in Martin Luther King. Can't really write a better script to close out the event.
What do fans need to know as far as ticket prices and how many games come with that?
So the ticket each day is $10, and it's good for all games on that select day. So they can find more information at DetroitSports.org.
What about the event itself? What's going on to enhance the fans' experience?
Well, we have Zenith as our title sponsor this year, and they are a heck of a sponsor. They're you know, very innovative. They're based in Detroit. They manufacture their helmets and equipment in Detroit. So we're really excited to have them on board.
You guys do so much work organizing things like the Grand Prix bowl games. Why do you guys still invest in high school sports?
You know, when we started this 13 years ago, and you got to give credit to Dave Beechnaw, our former executive director. This was his baby that he started in 2005 out at Eastern Michigan. It's all about the schools. Gives them the platform to bring their bands out, their cheerleaders.
It's the 2017 Zenith Prep Kickoff Classic. We'll be there. You got to be there. Thanks for coming in, Marty. DetroitSports.org is the website. One final reminder, every Saturday morning at 10 a.m., watch the statewide high school football show, Extra Point. Every Sunday, the original all-sports high school sports show, State Champs. That airs at 9 a.m. Both are on Fox Sports Detroit. The State Champs Scoreboard is the best Friday night football radio show. Tune in on 97.1 The Ticket. Go to statechampsnetwork.com to get the list of our other affiliates from across the state, or just watch it live on Facebook, 10:30 to midnight. Thanks for all the reaction to our top 25 running back show in the last 25 years. The quarterbacks are next year, and we just might have the fans weigh in before we finalize our list. Big props to our newest partners, the MHSAA. Going to be a great year, and we'll see you next week.